It was yet another active day on Dearly Farm. The pups were running around playing, the chickens were laying eggs, and the humans were doing their daily chores. Lucky, Rolly, and Catpig were on their way to the hen house to pick up Spot. They had another fun day planned for today with her. When they arrived, they were surprised to see the chickens are flying out of the hen house in panic. "What's going on?" Lucky wondered. "Something doesn't smell right," said Rolly.
"Whatever it is, it can't be good," said
Catpig. Just then, when all the hens escaped, they saw what was going on. A chicken hawk had somehow gotten into the chicken house. Where he came from exactly was a mystery, but whatever the case may be, the pups knew they had to stop this menace. They went after the chicken hawk and tried to fight him, but he was too strong and didn't take the pups seriously. He managed to catch Spot since she wasn't good at flying as the other chickens, and he ran off with her.
"He's got Spot!"
Catpig screamed. At that moment, they noticed Cornelia crying and panicking over her daughter getting kidnapped. "Don't worry, Cornelia," Rolly confirmed. "We'll save her."
"She is our best friend, you know," said
Catpig. "You can count on us," said Lucky. The pups turned back around to see where the chicken hawk ran off to, but they had lost him. Fortunately, Rolly managed to pick up his scent, so Lucky and Catpig followed Rolly as his nose led the way. It wasn't long until the pups made it to the chicken hawk's nest. "This is the place," he said. "Spot is definitely in here." Catpig's ears pricked up what was going on inside.
"Oh no!" she gasped. "They're gonna eat her!"
"They are?" asked Rolly.
"Yes, Rolly,"
Catpig answered.
"That's what chicken hawks do. They eat chickens."
"Man, and I thought Scorch and Steven were bad enough," said Lucky. "What are we gonna do?" asked Rolly. "Like we always do," said Lucky. "As true friends, we've got to save her. We're gonna break in there, find out those chicken hawks, and blow her out of there, just like what Thunderbolt did in Season 2, Episode 14.
"Are you crazy?" Catpig gasped. "Do you remember how brutal that chicken hawk was? He's like a pro wrestler compared to us. He will not take kindly to us at all."
Good point," said Lucky as he tried to think of an alternate plan. Then he remembered Season 3, Episode 16 of Thunderbolt, and this sparked an idea. "In that case, I've got a better plan, but I'm going to need your help with it, and I'm positive this will work." Meanwhile, the chicken hawk and his wife were preparing to eat Spot. He drooled looking at Spot when his wife prepared the pot with some vegetables. "Hey, you could have gotten a bigger chicken, you know, Kalo," said the female hawk. "I know, Tandra," said Kalo, "but this was one way to catch. This one was easy to catch."
"Well, we are trying to cut back anyway," said Tandra.
"Yeah, all the more reason to let me go," Spot cried. "Quiet, you," snapped Quello. Suddenly, Tandra jumped when she heard a buzz come to the door. "Kello, did you install the door buzzer?" she asked her husband. "Nope," said Kello. "Whatever," Tandra said. "Answer the door." "Why me?" asked Kello. "Because I'm getting dinner ready," said Tandra. "You're just sitting there doing nothing. Now go!" Kello grumbled and walked to the door. Who was at the door but a misbalanced figure in a trench coat? Little did he know that it was actually Lucky, Catpig, and Rolly in disguise. "Hello, sir," said Lucky in a fairly deep voice. "I am an official food inspector. I go door to door to inspect the food supply for animals to see if they are safe to eat." Kello was a bit confused, but was gullible enough to let the pups in. Rolly slowly walked in while Lucky and Catpig did their best not to lose balance. "So, you are chicken hawks, eh?" asked Lucky. "That means your diet must consist of chickens, am I right?" "That's right," said Kello. Suddenly, Rolly sneezed. Catpig said, "Gesundheit." Lucky kicked Catpig, signaling her to keep her mouth shut. Kello blinked. "What was that?" "Oh, you must excuse me," said Lucky. "I suffer from sneezing shin syndrome and talking stomach syndrome." "Sounds like your stomach is female," said Kello. Lucky nodded as he sweat dropped. Kello showed Spot to the pups. "You came just in time," he said. "We are just about to cook this chicken I just caught today." Spot saw through the pups' disguise and winked at Lucky. Lucky examined Spot carefully. "I'm sorry, but this chicken does not have enough meat on her to subside the both of you. I'm afraid I will have to dispose of her." "I told you should have gotten a bigger chicken, Kello," snapped Tandra. Lucky responded and said, "I shall be on my way now." "Wait a minute," said Kello. "We have more food here than just that. Shouldn't you inspect these vegetables we are about to cook too?" Lucky sighed. "Very well."
"Hurry, Lucky," Catpig whispered. "I don't know how much longer we can hold up."
Hearing Catbig, Lucky went to the Hawks, "Make it quick, please. I'm on a very tight schedule." Tandra started listing off the ingredients in the stew she was making. Rolly overheard all this and started to get hungry. Plus, his nose picked up the intoxicating buffet of all the ingredients cooking in the pot. He couldn't take it anymore. He emerged from the coat and exclaimed, "Oh, Papa, bon appetit!" Of course, the costume fell apart, revealing the true identity of the pups. "Exposed!" Catpig gasped. "Hey, you're the pups from earlier," said Kello. "Scram!" said Lucky, and they all managed to barely escape the chicken hawk. "I should have known there was something fishy about that man," said Kello. Hearing Kello say fishy made Tandra's stomach grumble. She thought about eating fish. "Hey, we should have fish tonight instead," she said. "But we're chicken hawks," said Kello. "I know," said Tandra, "but it wouldn't hurt to try something new for once. Plus, fish is healthier and easier to catch." Kello agreed to the idea and decided to go fishing. Back at the barn, Cornelia was relieved to have her daughter back safe and sound. Later that night, Lucky told the story to Pongo and Perdita and all the other pups. "We have raised such incredible pups," said Pongo. "Who would have thought they'd be able to perform such a rescue, and after what we did to save all them?" Just then, Perdita's stomach growled and let out a very low growl. She blushed and said, "I guess my stomach could use some kibble. Watching over 99 children can sure make me hungry." "Well, we may not have to worry too much about that," said Pongo. "After hearing Lucky's story, I'm convinced that these pups are able to fend for themselves." "I guess you're right, Pongo," said Perdita. "I should stop worrying. Our pups will be just fine without us." Little did they know, something tragic was about to happen to their puppies tonight. Cruella had been going through a midlife crisis when she was cleaning out her closet and discovered some old receipts from when she was in her fur coat. This inspired her to relive her glory days and go back to her old scheme of making the puppies into fur coats. She had her cousin, P.H. DeVille, set up a new security system around her house and build indestructible robots to do her bidding. The next day, Pongo and Perdita woke up and noticed all of their puppies were missing. At first they thought that maybe they were having adventures again, but it seems unusual because they could not find a single pup on the farm anywhere. Perdita started to get really worried. Just then, Pongo picked up the sound of barking. Lucky had been sending him a message through barking. It turns out all 99 puppies have been kidnapped by Cruella's robots overnight and are being held hostage at Villa DeVille, while Cruella plots to make them into fur coats. "Oh dear," Perdita cried. "Cruella's back to her old self again." "I didn't think this day would ever come, but it has," said Pongo. Roger and Anita noticed the puppies were missing too. They received a note from Cruella saying that she had the puppies and she would only return them if they sold the farm to her. Roger and Anita took the time deciding what to do and which was more important, their dogs or their home. Fortunately, Cruella's promised not to have anything happen to the puppies until the dearlies made their decision. Pongo didn't want to put up with this. He knew the right thing to do was break the puppies out of there. "Come on, Purdy," he said. "Let's go rescue our puppies. Just like old times," said Perdita as she followed Pongo to Villa DeVille. When they arrived, they secretly crept onto the perimeter of Cruella's yard. However, they were unaware of the new security system Cruella had installed in her house. It was programmed to make sure Pongo and Perdita would not ever enter the mansion if spotted. Just then, 2 robots came rushing out, grabbed Pongo and Perdita, and kicked them out. "What was that?" asked Perdita. "I don't know," said Pongo. "They were like robot guards." "I don't remember Cruella having any robots in her house," said Perdita. "Cruella must have just had them installed," said Pongo. "Oh, Pongo," Perdita cried. "How are we going to save our puppies?" "I don't know, Purdy," said Pongo, "but somehow we have to. And getting in there is going to be a lot tougher than I thought. I don't think rolling in the sun is going to do us any good," said Perdita. At that moment, Perdita saw the mailman walking up to the front gate. A robotic eye came out and scanned him. "Human being, permission granted," it said. The gates opened, and the mailman walked into it to deliver Cruella's mail. This sparked an idea into Pongo's head. "Purdy, I've got an idea," he said. "Come on, let's get back to the farm and I'll explain." So they went back to the farm and went inside the house. Pongo looked around to make sure Roger and Anita were no one in sight. "The coast is clear," he said. "Come on, Purdy, to the bedroom." Perdita followed Pongo up to the bedroom. "So what is your plan, Pongo?" asked Perdita. Pongo explained. "I think I figured out those as Cruella had are programmed to keep dogs out of her mansion, so as to prevent us from rescuing our puppies, which I admit is a brilliant scheme. She must have learned from her past mistakes. However, I just saw how the security system let the mailman in, so I figured they must also allow humans in. So I figured if we looked like a human, we could sneak in there and save our puppies. Perdita thought. Not bad. It just might work. Pongo went into the closet and pulled out Roger's trench coat and fedora hat. We'll use Roger's coat and hat to disguise ourselves. Shouldn't we get 2 coats since there are 2 of us? Asked Perdita. Doesn't Anita have a coat too? 1 coat is all we need, Purdy, said Pongo. I'll be wearing the coat and hat while you hoist me up on your shoulders. At first, Perdita thought her husband was out of his mind, but she agreed to do it. She will do anything to save her puppies, even if she had to go to great lengths. The 2 of them went outside, back on the ground level, and started assembling their disguise. I admit I was inspired by Lucky's story to come up with this, Pongo said as he slipped on the coat and hat. He also put a pair of comic glasses to hide his dog's snout. Perdita positioned herself, ready for Pongo to climb onto her. Pongo climbed onto Perdita's shoulders. Okay, said Perdita. 1, 2, 3. She pushed herself up so that she was now standing on her hind legs. They wobbled a bit, but Perdita managed to get herself situated. She wrapped her front legs around Pongo's hind legs. Okay, ready, Pongo? Ready, Purdy? Asked Pongo. Ready, Pongo, said Perdita. Pongo closed up the coat. Now only Perdita's legs were visible. Okay, Purdy, said Pongo. Forward! Perdita slowly started walking forward. Pongo was quite a weight upon her, but she managed to support him with ease. Pongo guided her as she walked. Can't you go any faster? Pongo asked Perdita. Hey, you may be delayed, so I'll decide how fast I go, answered Perdita. Besides, I'm walking on my hind legs and carrying a lot of weight. This isn't all that easy. Secretly, Perdita was wondering why she was on the bottom, considering Pongo was longer and heavier than her. But she chose not to complain about it, after all. She was doing this for her puppies, whose lives were at stake right now. They arrived back at the front gate, and Pongo said to Perdita, And stop! Perdita stopped. Are we in yet? She asked Pongo in a hushed whisper. Not yet, said Pongo. We're just at the front gates, so stay quiet for now. The same robot from before came out and scanned the disguised dogs. Human being, permission granted. The gates opened. Forward, Purdy, Pongo said to Perdita. Perdita started walking forward until they got to the front porch, and then they stopped. She poked her head out of the coat and looked up at Pongo. All right, we're in, she whispered. Now let's just hope this works, said Pongo as he rang the doorbell. Cruella heard the doorbell and ordered Horace and Jasper to go after it. So they did. When the 2 dogs heard the door opening, Perdita quickly pulled her head back into the coat and buttoned it back up. Good afternoon, sir, said Horace. How may we help you? Pongo hesitated. He then remembered that since he is a dog, he can't talk to humans. He didn't think about it, so he used hand motions to try to get Horace and Jasper to understand him. Oh, you must be a mute, said Jasper. Our apologies. Why don't you come in, sir? Horace said. Perdita walked inside. She wobbled a bit, but managed to regain her balance. Pongo then noticed the puppies locked up in a big cage. He gasped, Look, Purdy, he whispered. There they are. Perdita peeked down in the coat. We need to figure out how we're going to get them out of here, she whispered. You need something, sir? Said Horace. Hearing Horace, Pongo quickly shoved Perdita's head back into the coat and closed it back up so as not to look suspicious. Ah, you probably noticed the puppies over there, said Jasper. The puppies saw the commotion that was going on. Something's fishy here, said Lucky. Who's this man that just walked in? Rolly sniffed. Hey, he said. It's Mom and Dad. They're here to rescue us.
I knew they'd come,
said Cadpig. That does look like Dad's head, said Lucky. Does that mean Mom is the one underneath? He then looked down and recognized Perdita's skinny legs. Yep, it's her all right, said Rolly.
Wow, Mom sure is a strong dog,
said Cadpig. Then she added,
relatively speaking, of course.
Cruella plans to make coats out of these pups, said Horace. Jasper bonked Horace on the head. Horace, you shouldn't have said that, he interjected.
What did I say?
Asked Horace. If this guy knows our scheme, he'll report us to the police, and... Jasper started to say until he looked at Pongo's face. Wait a minute. There's something familiar about this man. Pongo sweat-drops, fearing the bandits might be seen through their disguise. Underneath the coat, Perdita heard Jasper too. She gulped. I know what he looks like, said Horace. He looks like that animal rescue guy we see on the commercials. That's right. Maybe that's who I'm thinking of, said Jasper. Maybe this is him. But how does he talk on the commercials if he's mute here? Asked Horace. Simple, Horace. They used another actor to dub his lines. Pongo was starting to feel relieved, knowing that Horace and Jasper were gullible enough to buy this act. Suddenly, Perdita felt her nose start to itch. She felt a sneeze coming on. Pongo felt Perdita's jittering. It was tickling him a little bit. He wondered what was going on, until he heard Perdita's gibberish. He could tell Purdy was about to sneeze. He knew this would blow their cover. If she sneezed, it could cause them to topple over. But even if they didn't, Horace and Jasper would still hear it. Hold it in, Purdy, Pongo said to Perdita. But Perdita couldn't hold it in. The sneeze was going to be a really big one. Achoo! Perdita's sneeze was so powerful that it inflated the trench coat immensely for a brief second. After the sneeze, Pongo's heart started racing. How was he going to talk his way out of this one? Gesundheit, Jasper said. Lucky blinked. I had no idea Mom's sneezes were that powerful, he said. Wow! Your sneezes are so big they came from the inside, said Horace. Wait a minute, Jasper interjected. Horace, do you know what this means? Pongo's heart sank. He knew it was Tash for sure now. The jig was up! This guy has internal sneezing syndrome, Jasper said to Horace. Uh-oh, is it contagious? Horace asked. I don't know, but it might be, Jasper answered. Perdita was trying to hold in a laugh. It was just so ridiculous to how dumb Horace and Jasper are falling for this. I think we better give him what he wants, Jasper, said Horace. We must never argue with someone with a serious disease. You're right, Horace, said Jasper. He must be here for the puppies. We gotta release them to him. They opened up the cage and the puppies went running out through the door. Still in disguise, Perdita followed the puppies, still carrying Pongo on her shoulders. Once all 101 Dalmatians returned to the farm and were out of sight of the DeVilles, Pongo threw off the disguise, Perdita dropped down to her hind legs, and Pongo got off her. Perdita was released to finally have that weight literally off her shoulders. Whew, boy was it hot in there, Perdita said jokingly. You okay after all that, Purdy? Asked Pongo. Yeah, I'm fine, she answered. That was actually kind of fun. We knew you'd come to our rescue, said Lucky. You two are the greatest parents a puppy could ever ask for. Pongo and Perdita blushed. Those words Lucky said really made their day. I'm impressed as how you were able to carry Dad for quite a while, let alone like that, Cadwig said to Perdita. Well, I am quite strong, said Perdita. You kind of inherited that from me, Cadpig. Cadpig remembered the number of times she carried Lucky. Oh yeah, point taken, she said. I was also surprising at that moment when you sneezed, said Lucky. Since when were you capable of letting out sneezes that big? Perdita struggled. Well, I guess because I was so overwhelmed with so much anxiety, my allergies went haywire, thus resulting me in sneezing out a gale-force wind. In that case, said Pongo, the next time you and I do a disguise like that, it'll be for something fun. Just then, Perdita's stomach growled. She blushed under the coat. In the meantime, let's get something to eat, she giggled. All that work has made me hungry. Now you're talking my language, panted Rolly. So the dogs all went out to the chow tower and ate. The end.